It was to 47 midnight when a neighbor heard it, a single strangled cry that pierced the night and made her freeze. By the time 911 was called, silence had returned, leaving only the faint scent of perfume and fear lingering in the apartment. Officers arrived to find the door slightly ajar, the lock broken, and the interior of Maya Collins' home in disarray. Broken glass littered the floor, an overturned chair leaned against the wall, and a sense of unease gripped everyone who stepped inside. But Maya was nowhere to be found. Everything about the scene suggested it wasn't a robbery or a random attack. This was calculated. Someone had known exactly how to trap her. Maya was 22, bright and kind, with a loyalty that made her friends and family love her fiercely. She worked at a small cafe, saving every penny for her future, dreamed of becoming a nurse, building a quiet, happy life with a family of her own. She believed she had found that life with Ryan Parker. They had grown up together, their paths intertwined since high school, and to everyone who knew them, they seemed inseparable. But sometimes, closeness can hide control. Ryan had always been protective, but his care slowly became monitoring, checking her messages, asking where she was, questioning her friends. At first, Maya thought it was love. She believed in him. She trusted him. 3 months before the tragedy, her best friend Laura noticed subtle changes. Maya seemed distracted, lost in thought, and laughing less. The cafe manager mentioned she stared out the window for long stretches. Ryan's concern intensified. He offered rides, insisted on accompanying her to appointments, and always seemed just a little too aware of her schedule. Neighbors, like Mrs. Blake, an elderly woman who lived across the hall, noticed him pacing at odd hours. Even his friends commented that he seemed unusually attentive. No one suspected that the fear he carried was growing into obsession. When Maya received her acceptance into a nursing program in another city, excitement lit up her voice. She called Laura immediately, sharing her hopes and plans. Ryan, however, felt panic surge through him. He didn't hear opportunity. He heard abandonment. The idea of a life without her at the center terrified him. That night, they argued quietly but intensely. Neighbors reported hearing her crying, then silence. She called her sister, telling her Ryan was acting strange, that she needed to leave, that she would come to her soon. She never made it out of the apartment. Police arriving at the apartment the next morning found broken furniture, shattered glass, and the signs of a struggle. Maya lay on the floor, but Ryan had carefully placed a blanket over her, adjusted her hair, and whispered apologies. It was a contradiction that haunted the investigators. Violence and tenderness, love and destruction existing in the same instant. Detectives Harris and Ramirez, seasoned and intuitive, felt the unease immediately. Motion sensors showed activity inconsistent with Ryan's story. Deleted messages to Laura revealed her attempts to warn a friend. Small clues that could have cleared him initially instead suggested premeditation. Micro failures haunted the investigation. A neighbor's report of a suspicious man near the building led police to a delivery worker. Wasting precious hours, evidence from Maya's phone was almost missed. An initial timeline seemed to align perfectly with Ryan's claims. Only careful forensic work revealed the inconsistencies. When Ryan's encrypted folders were discovered, filled with obsessive tracking of Maya's routines, habits, and emotional state, investigators realized this wasn't a crime of impulse. It was calculated. He had planned her disappearance months in advance, knowing exactly when and how to strike. When confronted, Ryan remained unnervingly calm. He described Maya's excitement for the nursing program as abandonment. The thought of her leaving is unbearable. He told investigators that when she had said she would go, it felt as if his entire life was collapsing. In his mind, her independence threatened his existence, and in that twisted calculus, he concluded the only way to preserve her, to preserve himself, was to end her life. He did so quietly, with a precision that allowed him to maintain a facade of care even in destruction. Search teams found her weeks later, carefully hidden, but untouched by panic or struggle. Forensic psychologists determined she had, likely trusted him to the very end. A betrayal that chilled everyone involved. The confession itself was horrifying. Ryan explained that he didn't see himself as a killer. He didn't feel rage. He felt panic, fear of abandonment so intense it consumed him. To him, the act was an expression of love, an effort to protect the one he adored from leaving him emotionally. Every word he said made the investigators uneasy. Every rationalization a window into the terrifying mind of a man for whom possession had replaced care. In the aftermath, as the trial unfolded, audio recordings played of Maya's gentle voice telling him she loved him, that she needed to follow her dreams. She hadn't been rejecting him. She had been choosing herself. That choice had cost her everything. Ryan was sentenced to life in prison, but there was no sense of closure. Only grief, only the haunting awareness that the danger had not come from a stranger, not from a shadow, but from someone she had loved completely. The most chilling truth lingered long after the courtroom emptied. Love had been the weapon, trust had been the trap, and the people who had seemed closest were capable of the most unimaginable. Betrayal. Investigators replayed the near misses, the micro failures, the deceptive calm, and realized that the most terrifying criminals are often those who stand in plain sight, who smile, who cry, and who gain our confidence just before taking everything from us. Sometimes, love alone is not protection. Sometimes, the people who fear losing you are the ones who can hurt you the most. And sometimes, the signs are small, a question too many, a call returned too late, a world that shrinks to one person, but noticing them can save lives.